interesting one. It's been floating around for many years. Started a couple months after I posted the power trend of Bitcoin back in 2018, is the stock to flow method. Now with stock to flow, what's going on under the hood is entirely different than the simple power curve of price and time. So price and time, which is the power curve, which is this beautifully curved, concave down curve, all right, that at the moment is increasing about 45% per year. 45% per year is the slope of this black line, and it will decrease over time. The power trend, the x-axis, where you could say price, or it's actually done on the market cap, was the original paper from Plan B back in 2019. It is price, or the market cap, in terms of S2F. All right, so it is a price on S2F. All right, so what is the S2F? Well, first, again, this x-axis is just there for help, for you to understand it. We're actually, for the power curve, this black line, the x-axis is actually, the only way the formula will work is that this x-axis is up to 6,000. The number is 6,000 days. That's how you make trend lines. You don't go from any random date. All right. It's completely different than trend line analysis on TradingView. It's completely different. It's mathematically based on some starting position. In this case, the starting position is the Genesis block, and it's January 3rd, 2009, and it's days from there. But with STF, it is actually a power curve. All right, so he did do it on a power curve, but he's using the increasing stock to flow, which we know into the future due to Bitcoin's predictive price schedule. And so Bitcoin is already at the moment under gold, all right, as far as inflation rate or monetary growth rate. It's less than 1% per year. Less than 1% per year. The S2F, last time I checked, is something like 118. All right? I'm not a fan of S2F for many reasons, because nobody talks in terms of S2F. This is kind of an economist phrase. Also, people don't use it consistently. I've done many videos on this. But if you take the inverse of the S2F, you will get the annual growth rate of Bitcoin. So 1 divided by 118 is the current annual growth rate of the Bitcoin supply system. All right, and as we know, that's never going above 21 million, another useful feature of Bitcoin. Nonetheless, if we can still sort of shoehorn in a power curve on the S2F, because we know S2F in the future. Whereas with the power curve, which is price in time, or market cap in time, of course, we know the future because it's just day by day. So this, we're at about 6,000 now, then we'll be at 6,365 a year from now, so on and so forth. That's how you count up and draw this beautiful trend line. With S2F, you're counting on the stock to flow increasing. That's how you make this trend line. So what you get is this stair-step effect. That's why it looks like this. But it's more ham-fisted than that, and I will go into that more in the future. This is not the Plan B model. This is just this is the most accurate you could actually draw for the power curve. It's just, for the stock to flow curve, it's taking the all-time stock to flow values, okay, which were very low back here when Bitcoin was increasing very high, a couple 100,000 or 1 million Bitcoins a year in the early days, then a couple 100,000, so on and so forth. And now quite a few less per year. And in dollar terms, it's still less than $20 billion a year, something to think about. Bitcoin terms, it is, I don't actually even know at the moment, but less than 100,000, I believe, per year, right? So you're taking the stock to flow, all right, as your x-axis in your denominator. And very quickly, as we can see, just right here, it might actually look decent here in 2017, okay, because it kind of, catches, you could say it even kind of catches the top, all right, but it looks less decent here in 2021, all right, and if you go back to say, for example, here, again, thinking that it could kind of catch the top is not necessarily the goal of a model, because then you'd have to ask, well, is it catching the bottoms, so on and so forth. So I'll get to this and sort of explain it a little bit more with some future predictive trends of this. But again, we're just on market cap. So what I want to do is show you, again, how you can analyze the total value of Bitcoin in the system. These are 3 ways that are all valid. Clearly, exponential is just silly season. It's great. I would love it if Bitcoin is $50 quadrillion worth of value in 10 years. It's not going to happen, but it would be great. The power trend, which is, again, a beautiful 96% R squared, and then the S2F power trend, which is actually similar R squared. I'm not putting that because it gets confusing when you're talking about different things. Again, this is not on days, but it's on the expected S2F of the Bitcoin system, and you get this stair-step effect.